When we sit an exam, we always want to try and do it as best we can. So I want to go over sort of 3 steps that I kind of always see in critiques from examiners when I get results back for students. Okay, so when we're doing our exams, knowing the notes and the rhythms just isn't enough. Yes, you obviously need to do that, right? But then you want to try and add some flavour to your music. So the first thing I want to cover is dynamic range. Now, I've covered this in a previous video, actually talking about dynamics, if you're not quite sure on what they are or how to read them. However, assuming that you know what they are, then you really need to try and make sure that you apply the dynamic requests from the music as best you can. Now that's just the basics, you know, if you see dynamics in the music then you can follow that. However, you may want to add some in of your own, so never be shy when it comes to that. The other thing, as well as adding a bit of colour, it shows that you have a kind of musical understanding of what's actually going on in the piece. Just one more thing about dynamics as well, they can be quite difficult to extract as much as you can, and they can, you know, it's a bit hard work. When you're listening to yourself, sometimes you can give yourself ideas of grandeur that you're doing better than what it sounds, which is a great opportunity for you to maybe record and listen back to your music to make sure that what you think you're putting across dynamically is actually what's happening, because sometimes the listener will not hear any difference when you think you're playing this wonderful piece of music, but the listener will think, I can't hear anything. So yeah, record yourself and have a wee listen back. The next thing I want to cover is balance of the hands. As early as I can with my students, actually, I try and encourage them to figure out where the melody is in a piece of music, and make sure that they you know, like if the melody's in the right hand, that it just sings a wee bit louder than the accompaniment in the left hand. And this can change all the time. It's not always right hand has the tune and left hand doesn't. It can quite often be that the right hand will have the accompaniment and the left hand will play the melody. So you need to make sure that you're getting that balance right. So for example, in one of Chopin's mazurkas, there's a wee bit of a waltz type section. Now, what I'm trying to do there is bring over the right hand a wee bit more than the left. It wouldn't sound so good if I did this. You know, and you would have this really heavy left hand and it's just rubbish to listen to. So you need to just try and bring out that melody in the right. So you get the idea, and it happens straight from day one really. As soon as you start playing 2 hands together, then you need to be thinking about that balance. And there's a number of different techniques on how to develop that, which I'm not going to cover just now. But yeah, it's something that you should start early so that you don't have to introduce it to your music later on in life. It just makes it like stupid difficult to do. Before I go into my last point, if you've sat in exams recently and you've had any sort of feedback, you know, let me know in the comments what sort of things you're seeing on a regular basis. As I said, these are the things that will kind of lift you from a pass into distinction. So it's always worth thinking about. If you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for notifications on any future videos that come out. The last thing I want to cover is the performance as a whole. Quite often what the examiner will look for is that you are trying to put across the music as musically as you can and be involved in the performance as much as you can. So what you don't want to do things, so if I played something like this, when you finish, just give a wee bit of time. Don't do something like this. Or other things that I've seen get done as well is something like this. Get my next piece of music out and straight onto it. You know, before you even have a kind of chance to let the piece finish and let it settle, what you've done is, you know, you've just played a wee piece of music and you're letting the examiner or whoever's listening enjoy it, give them a wee bit of chance just to think, oh, that was really nice, and then move on. Don't do things like, you know, picking up your phone, picking your nose, changing to the next piece of music. Just let the dust settle and then carry on. And it's something that the examiners and audiences really appreciate. That's everything for my sort of 3 steps to help you just push your exam marks through to distinction. If you've got any other questions, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in another video. Cheers.